Welcome back everyone. It's a very exciting video for me today. I finally get to show you the second iteration of my automatic fruiting chamber. Now it's one of the most ridiculous things I've ever made for my mushroom cultivation, but it's one that I hope will open up a few new avenues of cultivation for me, as well as providing a means to experiment and learn through just doing stuff and mucking around. But before we build this chamber and talk about how it performs, if you get any value from these videos, please don't hesitate to hit the like and subscribe button. Alright, with that said, let's build this chamber. The box itself is made from a large caterer's food box. In the first version of this chamber, it was made from acrylic sheets. These provided minimum insulation as they were much too thin. My build quality was also pretty tragic. Lots of leaks and stress on the acrylic, and unfortunately this rendered the first chamber largely ineffective, and the only mushrooms I was able to fruit inside were those that would have grown in the ambient conditions inside my house anyway. The lack of insulation really rendered the heating and the cooling ineffective. So in this version I'm making the box from the foam you see here. It should provide much better insulation and the lid should properly seal. So I'm installing the lights now, and in that first version of the chamber the lights shorted out from the humidity, causing what few mushrooms I grew inside to grow in all kinds of strange directions. To solve that, I've made a small recess in the lid where I can place the lights before covering with a panel of acrylic and some silicone sealer. This should prevent any moisture from finding its way inside. In the box proper, I've cut a bunch of holes to provide a nice viewing window to watch the mushrooms grow. This viewing window will be covered with 2 panels of 6mm acrylic, which should help to keep the insulation mostly intact. I've also cut holes for refrigeration panel compressor line access, as well as some holes for fresh air exchange, the humidifier, and access for the sensors and electronics inside the chamber. The chamber has also been completely covered with aluminium tape. I figure this will help with cleaning inside between fruiting and also reflect the light from the lid around the chamber. For the fresh air exchange, I wanted to build a system that creates positive pressure. In the last chamber I had a negative pressure system, and this sucked in all kinds of stuff through the gaps of my dodgy construction rather than through the filter I made. The fan speed was also unable to be controlled, which caused these chaotic interactions with the temperature and humidity inside the chamber. The environment never really settled inside, and each machine was playing catch up with the other. This time, however, I've made a rudimentary positive pressure system with fan speed control. This will pull in air through the filter and then push it into the chamber, displacing any carbon dioxide without sucking in debris from outside. The fan speed controller will also allow me to find sympathy and common ground between the humidifier, the heating and the cooling panel. Or so I hope. To supply the required humidity, I have here a garden variety ultrasonic humidifier that will be connected to a humidity sensor. It connects to a pipe inside the chamber that has many holes drilled into it. When humidity is required, the humidifier will turn on and release a very fine water vapour to hydrate the growing fruits. Next, it's time to install the refrigeration panel and the acrylic panelling for the viewing window, and then it's time to connect the panel to the compressor. Now, my original plan was to have 2 panels of acrylic so that water droplets wouldn't build up on the inside of the chamber, thus offering a clear view inside. The air between acting as an insulating layer and preventing drastic temperature gradients. However, the second acrylic panel was a little too heavy for the foam the box is constructed from, so I eventually removed it. Once the acrylic was installed, I connected the fridge compressor to the fridge panel I installed earlier. It's powered by a little DC converter thing I have wired to a fuse to prevent any damage or fires in the event of a power surge. After this, it's a simple matter of putting in the sensors and the heating mat and closing everything up. Alright, it's time to try and fruit some mushrooms. I have these cakes here that I've bought from a local vendor. They're super consistent and should give a good indication of how the chamber is actually working. I don't have to worry about genetics or contamination or a million other variables that I question with my own cakes. So we'll jump ahead a month and then check in with the chamber and see how it's performing. Alright, I've been using this chamber for about a month now, and after some initial teething problems, it's performing pretty well. It's required a few adjustments since its construction though, the biggest being the addition of this big tub, inside of which I placed some wet diapers, and thank you Dr. Ed Grand for that tip. This fixes a few of the problems I was having, the biggest of these being the cakes were drying out. These 2 cakes required rehydrating even before their first flush, and I suspect part of the problem is the volume of this chamber. It's pretty small, only around 80 litres, so when the fan kicks in it replaces the atmosphere inside very quickly, taking heat away. This forces the heating mat to work very hard. This also dries out the air, forcing the humidifier to turn on, which then cools everything down again, thus turning on the heating mat once more, creating a kind of doom loop from which no mushrooms would pin. In addition to this, the initial fan speed I chose was also way too fast. It caused a lot of breeze and wind inside the chamber. This air blowing across the cakes just carried away any water inside and dried them right out. To fix all this, I got a tub and placed it inside with some diapers and then placed that tub on top of the heating mat, and I turned the fresh air exchange fan down to its lowest setting. This had an immediate result. The slower fan speed meant less wind on the cakes and prevented evaporation of the water near the surface of the cakes. The walls of the tub also played a large part in preventing this breeze from interfering with the cakes too much. The diapers on the bottom of the tub, though, are doing the real heavy lifting. When the heating mat turns on, it warms the saturated diapers and they release their water. The effect here is twofold. The heating mat isn't drying out the air, rather it's contributing humidity. And it also heats up the diapers themselves, and these then function as a kind of heat sink. They release their humid warmth, even if the fresh air exchange is running. This tub inside has really allowed everything inside the chamber to settle down, and everything seems to be working well together. As you can see in this time lapse of the readings, the temperature stays within around 1 degree Celsius, and the CO2 fluctuates by about 200 or so parts per million. The humidity is fluctuating a bit, however, it's staying within the 90 to 98% humidity, so I'm not too worried about that. Things seem to be growing, so it doesn't seem to be too much of a big deal. But yeah, I've got some fruits growing. They look pretty good. There's no fuzz and they're nice and robust. The first two cakes seem to put all their energy into making very few but pretty massive fruits. This third cake, however, seems to be doing really well. There's lots of pin coverage. It's just that top left corner where nothing has really happened. The rest of the cake was absolutely covered in pins, and they're all growing, albeit very, very, very slowly. I suspect that the pins might even be too much for this little cake. There's only so much water inside and they're all fighting over it. But in terms of creating nice surface conditions for this particular cake, the chamber seems to be working quite well indeed. Next, I decided to fruit some lovely oyster mushrooms from these two grow blocks. You can really see some vigorous growth here. Over the course of 2 or so days, these fruits have absolutely exploded. The chamber seems to be providing a very stable environment with humidity and temperature staying very close to the parameters. And it's fantastic, the fruits are responding. Again, I do want to say that these are not my blocks. Once more, they're much more consistent than mine. And I use them whenever I'm making chambers, just to give me a clear idea of how everything's working. Alright, now I haven't spoken much about the refrigeration in this video, and that's because so far I haven't deliberately used it yet. It's turned on a few times, especially when the afternoon sun heats up my room and shines into the chamber, and it has certainly helped to maintain a nice temperature inside. However, for the first test in this chamber, I wanted to focus on some warm weather species. If I can't grow those, then what can I grow, right? In future videos though, I want to experiment more with the refrigeration aspect, especially with a few of the species that require a cold shock to start fruiting. I'm also going to refine the diaper tub a little more and see if I can maximise the beneficial properties it brings to this auto chamber. I have a few ideas that I'm looking forward to trying in the future. Drop your suggestions in the comments below, but for now I'm going to leave it here. Thanks so much for watching. Stick around for further updates as I refine and improve this chamber, and I'll see you all in a video very soon. Legends.